We respectfully request the Sangha great virtues for the sake of this assembly and all living beings. Please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung thính đại đức tặng tình, vì thứ pháp hội cấp nhất thiết chúng sanh. Thịnh chuyên diệu pháp luân giao đạo ngã môn, như há liêu sanh thoát tư ly khổ đạc lạc, tốc chứng vô sanh. Homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One. Nam mô Sa Đần Thổ Su Chế Đô Ye A La Hơ Đi San Miao San Pu Tô Xie. Nam mô Tát Đắc Tha Tô Ya Đa Ya A La Ha Đê Tam Miêu Tam Bồ Đà Toa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I'm able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one true and actual principles. Wu shang sheng sheng wei miao fa bai qian wan jie nan zhao yu. 我今见闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。O Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Great Master Jingliang, Great Master YongHua, all good monks and nuns, and all good advisors, Emitofuo. Chư Phật Bồ Tát, kính Thanh Lương Đại Sư Hòa Thượng Tiên Hóa, quý thầy cô, quý vị thiện tri thức, A Di Đà Phật. Chư Phật Bồ Tát, Chính量大师, Sư Phụ Sang Rần, 各位出家人, 各位善知识, Emitofuo. Hello everyone, today is the 9th of September 2022. We are gathered here to continue discussing the prologue to the Avatamsaka Sutra, prepared by Great Master Jingliang. We're discussing door number 2. It's about the stores and the teachings containing it. So this is a very wonderful overview that demonstrated the Master Jingliang's mastery of the Avatamsaka Sutra Dharma, and the foremost in Buddhist wisdom. And so we're very pleased to have the chance to do it with you. We're very grateful actually for this opportunity. As the tradition by my late Chinese teacher, Great Master YongHua, we explain it so that we can plant the prajna seeds of wisdom, the seeds of prajna wisdom in you. And this is important because Master YongHua explained this sutra already once in Chinese. It's the first time it was ever explained by a great patriarch. Actually, not many patriarchs was able to do that, who dare do that. And Master YongHua did it because it's important. He felt it was important enough to bring this foremost wisdom in Buddhism to the United States, because in other words, he feels that we are really worthy to be recipients of such wonderful, wonderful teachings. As usual, it used to be the case right now because we have so many languages that I will only explain in English will be translated into Vietnamese and made available to many of you, and or Korean or whatever languages. So far we don't have Espanol, right? Yeah. No, not yet. Only Daniel, but Daniel understands English. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. Oh, you're hot today too, huh? I'm glad you're here. At least there's some AC here. All right. So the language is important that we need to transfer to the knowledge is English, and that's what I focus on because it's the intention of Master YongHua to transfer this knowledge to the English-speaking audiences, target audiences. However, it's not the end of it. It's also very important for me personally to be able to transfer the knowledge to the other languages as well. In particular, for example, even though we learned from a Chinese, unfortunately, as it stands right now, the Chinese don't understand these profound teachings anymore. So that's why we translate it back to the Chinese. Apparently, it seems to help. Huh? And in fact, we have our audience of the Chinese people have been growing by leaps and bounds, and I'm very proud, actually, of their presence and their contribution. I'm very grateful for that. The best contribution is you cultivate, all of you. You cultivate and you improve so that the Dharma can only take root in you. And the deeper your roots, the stronger the Dharma will grow. And that's our attitude. Unfortunately, my late teacher, Master YongHua, transferred the knowledge, but he did not transfer the training methodology. Okay, so my generation, I'm the last one of his disciples who he accepted to be a monk, and then he died immediately. So he never really taught me directly in how to train people. He taught his disciples. Whatever that he taught, I feel that it's not effective enough to bring the third generation of Mahayana disciples to fruition. So, and it's not about talk for me personally. It's about whether when you cultivate, whether you attain the fruitions or not. I take it very personally. When you make progress, I'm happy personally. When you don't make progress, I blame Master YongHua and his disciples. Okay, so that we all know where we stand. Okay, never mind. So the main thing is that if you improve, and that's all that matters to me. And the Dharma, you are Dharma vessels, so that the more you improve, the more of the Dharma you can absorb. So it's not talk, it's fact that you can improve, meaning your samadhi improvement. In Mahayana is not an abstract concept. Improvement in Mahayana is measured by samadhi levels. Which samadhi level are you? Are you first dhyana, third dhyana, first ground, third ground, seventh ground, 10th ground, and so forth? Okay? For us, it's very, very, very clearly delineation of this clear delineation of your attainment level. That's what the Chinese always refer to as 成就, attainment or accomplishment. Okay, it is very precise. It's not abstract at all. So, for example, when you practice, we measure you. We look at you and say, where are you? And whether you're improving or not. And I don't know I can wait much longer, but I'm tickled pink when people improve. I really like it. So, for example, I can't hold this anymore. I'm a gossiper by nature. And we put on a relics exhibit recently in San Francisco, our San Francisco location, for 3 days, and it is incredible amount of work that our people went through. And so many people went there and pitched in before and during and after as well. So I'm very grateful for that. And I saw that some people would go there every day during the exhibit. That's what I noticed. And I saw how some people improve recently. The newcomers, they improve from coming to the relic exhibit for 3 days or helping out during the duration. So can you imagine that just in a span of like 4 or 5 days, their samadhi level increased 1 notch, just like that. Didn't even learn Chan meditation, didn't attend any lecture and whatever. It's incredible. So I was so happy about that. Okay, and of course you old hats didn't improve at all, so who cares? Just kidding. So anyway, people improve. That's all I care about. It's all talk. It's talk about how many people, how famous I am, or how many disciples I have, or how many temples I have. I really, personally, I can't care of any of those. All I care about is you improve. Okay, so keep that in mind. So please improve. Okay, so the improvement is not enough. Improvement has to be in the right direction, because you could improve, and if you improve on the wrong side of the fence, then you will get stuck eventually. Okay, and so that's why these lectures, these Dharma talks are very important, because they've been proven to help my disciples the last 16 years to be on the right side of the tracks. And as a result, they've been growing very, very quickly. And in fact, Mahayana has profound knowledge about training that's not obvious to you. And I was fascinated by how Master YongHua was the first patriarch, or the one patriarch that I was aware of who stressed how to cultivate. Whereas the other patriarchs, I noticed his predecessor, great Master Xu Yun, for example, it's okay, let him be. Children should be themselves. Don't repress children. If they're having fun like that, then it helps you make your heart kinder, okay, and more compassionate towards other people too. So, but in the tradition of Great Master YongHua, when I remember that, I remember when I first listened to his Dharma tapes, and in San Francisco, when he has this thing you couldn't even call a temple, it's like a warehouse, and the Buddha statue is so ugly because he made them himself. He's no sculptor, okay? And I don't know about you, but I feel that he doesn't have a sense of aesthetics when it comes down to statues. So to me, I'm told that in his early days of his temples, he was so poor, so he made the Buddha statues himself. And you can tell because they're so unartistic. I saw some of the photos. I was shocked. I said, And he would not get down on his knees. I would get down on my knees and beg someone, please buy me a statue, because I would not want to offend your sensibilities with the statue I designed, okay? It would be awful, it would be such torture for you. But anyway, that's the only exception I would do, just to beg for money, so that I don't offend you. But anyway, so his statues are horrible looking. And even the decoration, our statue, look at it, and they're golden, and they have, wavy things. His statues like draped in weird clothes, I'm sure he picked up from the garbage bin somewhere, and washed it or something. In our tradition, the old days, the old monks, would go to a garbage bin, pick up some rags, come back and clean it thoroughly and dye it and then piece it together and make it into a sash. They didn't have pajamas even back then. Horrible. Anyway, so in those, two shocking things to me is, number one, the statues, and number two, children, crying their heart out. I don't want to be here. Let's get out here, mommy. But so that's what stuck in my mind. So when I started teaching, I made it a point to remind people that the children are always welcome to our temples, and they're free to come, and they're free to be as noisy, scream at the top of their lungs, run around, break my statues, break things. We would not mind, okay? It's the parents who will pay for it, so. Anyway, I'm kidding. You don't have to pay for it. So it's because, so to me, Master YongHua is so all-embracing. He can embrace children like that and allow them to be themselves. This is incredible. Then we should learn it from him. We should embrace them and let them be themselves. Okay. And besides, they can scream all they want. Eventually, they get tired and they fall asleep. So what do we care? Okay. All right. So we're talking right now about the dharmas that you're supposed to learn from sutras. Sutra by design, the Buddha's explain sutras in order to help us build our samadhi level. Okay, so that's very important for you. If you practice Chan, you practice Buddhism at all, you need to study sutras. And on the other end of the spectrum, on the other side of the fence, the monks and nuns, if they are true monks and nuns, need to lecture in sutras, because sutras are how we train our disciples to develop samadhi. Okay, so eventually, since your generation of disciples, there's so many of you, not all of you need to lecture in sutras. You could have some specialists who study sutras so that the fourth generation of Mahayana will have the proper seeds, okay, the proper training. So that's how it is. But I say in general, if you really want to learn the Buddha Dharma, you need to listen to sutras, and particularly listen to the proper lectures on sutras. And it's a shame for me to see that some patriarchs don't lecture that much on sutras at all, and that's very unfortunate. If you fail to lecture in sutras, then the next generation will not be able to plant seeds. And to me, each generation of you should plant your own seeds. If you go expand the knowledge of Mahayana in your own direction, so that each generation adds more to the knowledge base of Mahayana, and that's important. Okay, so that's what we're doing here. With this these lectures may be small, that not many of you here, but we are trying to add more to the knowledge of Mahayana in English directly without translation. The Mahayana knowledge I learned was not directly taught to us in English. It was taught in Chinese, then it was translated into English. And it's pretty good for low levels, but for high levels, the translation falls short of the original teaching, unfortunately. Okay? And now in my generation, I don't have time. It's not my job to do the translation. My job is to train. And so I don't have time to retranslate all that stuff because it's not my job. I'm not really a hung. Disciples, what do I care? It's none of my business. So I do my thing, and so that's why I would rather spend time speaking to you in English, and so that's translated in various languages. I used to lecture in both English and Vietnamese, and now I don't do that anymore because I don't have time. And then that way, the advantage is that we can cover more grounds. All right, so now we are in slide 119, talking about the dhyanas. Also, dhyana is the samadhi level that people get, the 4 levels you get into when you practice Chan, the first 4 levels. YouTube, go ahead, there's a question.
This is from Venerable Shen An's Chan class. She has a question. After practicing and sitting full lotus more seriously, beginner stage, Chan students often report that they have nightmares. Some monsters or ghosts chase after them and try to kill them in their dream, or they have a vision where they experience something similar. I assume that it's their past creditors who are happy that people may improve their concentration powers soon. Is this correct? Isn't it a good sign, or is there anything I should do or be alert about?
Very good. Let's increase the volume a little bit to account for some noises here at the temple. One more time, please. And crank it up, okay?
Venerable Shen An has a question from her chat class.
Now. Okay.
After practicing and sitting full lotus more seriously, beginner stage, Chan students often report that they have nightmares. Some monsters or ghosts chase after them and try to kill them in their dream, or they have a vision where they experience something similar. I assume that it's their past creditors who are happy that people may improve their concentration powers soon. Is this correct? Isn't it a good sign, or is there anything I should do or be alert about?
So this is a question from Xianan,
Yes.
Master Xianan? Okay.
Yes.
So repeat the question part only. I assume whatever.
I assume that it's their past creditors who are unhappy that people may improve their concentration powers soon. Is this correct?
No, that's not correct. Okay? Dreams are just dreams. Who cares? So if the dream, they have dreams, that all they have to do is recite the mantra. Did you give them the sleep mantra so that they receive some protection during sleep? Is she there or she's not? Are we still...
she's traveling, Master. Venerable Saint Anne is traveling. She's not at the temple.
Okay, never mind. So if the students have some nightmares or bad dreams during the sleep, the first thing you ought to do is to teach them the sleep mantra. Yes, Way Mountain. Okay, and if that doesn't work, then it needs some stronger dosage prevention. That's all. So it's, whatever it is, it's a minor issue. It's not something they should be worried about. Okay. Nightmares is just nightmares. They have many reasons, but the main thing is that we look at the end result. And the people have nightmares, did it affect their, did they still get some rest so that they could function the following days? That's the main thing. Otherwise, nightmares like bad weather, who cares? You too.
Venerable Shen An said, I am told that I am not supposed to give the sleep mantra to just anyone. Some students have not taken refuge yet.
Sleep mantra is for to protect everyone. We don't need them to be Buddhists. If they need help, especially since they are practicing our dharmas, and therefore it's perfectly okay for us to give them dharmas to aid their practices. We don't want to come across as trying to force people to take refuge, to become Buddhists. Chan is for everyone. They're people who are enlightened, who are not Buddhists at all. Some are even Catholic. I'm thinking of, what's his name again? John Paul II, who's enlightened. And it should not be surprising to you that some Catholics are enlightened and so forth. And so we don't need to convert people at all. For this sleep dharma there, you can share it freely with others. We don't want to just leave it on the internet, for example, for anyone at all. However, it's a tool that's available that I taught you in order to help your students. And therefore, as long as they learn from you, the students, you can teach them. And there's no need to worry about them not having to take refuge at all. We can't care less if they take refuge or not. If they take refuge, fine. They don't take refuge, it's okay too. Okay. So when you practice, yes, Daniel.
Thank you. What does the sleep mantra help with?
One more time.
What does the sleep mantra help with?
It gives you some protection so that the ghosts or the spirits cannot get into your dreams and harass you. Because when you have nightmares and you don't sleep well, you don't recover quickly enough so that you can function the following day. And so that's why you may want to consider reciting the sleep mantra before you sleep, and that will help provide some protection. I'm told that it works. For some, it worked for a while, then it stopped working, and then so we increased the dosage and did something else. But the point here is that part of the learning process is for you to run into trouble, and we're supposed to teach you how to fix those problems, okay, and those obstructions. And that's what happens when you. The good things is that when her students practice Chan, and they start having problems consistently, that's a good thing. Who cares about what the reasons are? Don't fall into those traps. So people said, why? Tell me the reason. And the reason is not that important. If we tell you, then next time is another reason, next time is another reason. So it doesn't do anything for you. The main thing is that when you have problems like that, you will be taught how to address those problems. And that's how you can make progress, and that's how you will unfold your wisdom. Okay, and so our approach is slightly different. In the typical meditation and training or Chan training is that they want to tell you how much they know. I can't care less. Our interest is, and Xienan is following the same thing. It's probably because the past creditors and so forth. Past creditors or future creditors or present creditors, who cares? Okay, you try to stop me, you can't. That's all. That's all I care about. Try to stop me. Okay? Yeah. Bring it home. That's today's phrase. Okay? Is that all you got? Bring it on. Yes, you too.
Venerable Shen'an has another question. Two of the most hardworking students in Gyeongju City, Chan class at Nung Yun Sanim's temple, had some accidents separately, and they had rib fracture. I heard this news from the Sanim. I instructed them to report any problems or concerns to the Sanim. I am not certain if these accidents are obstructions from their practice or is it just incidents. Is there anything I need to do for them?
Is there anything you can do for them? Is there anything? Wish them well. What else can you do? These their lives. Since when do you become so overprotective? Our job, when you come to the temple, when you come and learn, is to provide you with the instructions. We're not your bodyguards. We're not the National Guards. We're not the police. We're not. So when you come to the temple, you come to the class, our job is to deliver instructions and help teach you. If you can't come to the class for various reasons, your house burns down, you have an accident and so forth, I'm sorry it happens to you, but I don't know. It's a little bit beyond my range. Okay? So Siena now is becoming like, you have any problem, call me, I fix it for you. It's not possible. All we can do is teach you, give you instructions, and teach you Chan, and help you cultivate. But if you have problems and so forth, I don't know. I don't know that I can do much about it. Okay? And usually, and the rule of thumb is that the reason you can't come to study, you can't come to practice, is because you don't have enough blessings. Take the children, for example. The children, how are you going to teach them? How are you going to protect your children? How can you make sure that they don't get into drugs? I talked to someone who got into trouble today, someone's son who's got into trouble. And so they go around from temple to temple asking for help. Pray for my son. Even have a nice photo of his. How are you going to protect them? You can't protect your children forever. You can't protect your children 24 hours a day. Okay? The only real protection your children is going to have is blessings. If they have blessings, the blessing will take care of them. When they don't have enough blessings, we run into all sorts of troubles. You tell them, they don't listen to you, and so forth. But when they have blessings, even when you give them bad advices, they don't listen. They will even protect it against your stupidity. How's that? So these people, if they learn Chan and bad things happen to them, I would take it as a good thing, but I can't say that because it's a test. If I have a disciple of mine who been with the temple for a long, long time, and I certified her to be first stage Arhat. Okay, and she 9 months ago, she walked. She came out of the house and walked to her car, and slipped and shattered her leg, her tibia, her knee, whatever. And she was out of action for 8 months. And it was so bad. No one helped her, and she was in great pain and so forth, and she couldn't come to the temple and so forth. And during the whole time, she has a lot of blessings. She has a lot of blessings so far. That's why she got to first stage Arhatship. And the blessings didn't protect her from falling. And so for 8 months, I didn't talk to her, I didn't call her, anything. And I expected her to be upset and fall off and say, how come I have so many blessings? How come I've been such a faithful follower and I still get into trouble? That's what people typically would have such reaction. But somehow she came back, and I said, wow, I didn't expect you to come back. So the point being that if you have enough blessings, you come back, you continue to learn. You don't have enough blessings, sayonara, next time, next lifetime. Okay? Yeah, so that's the whole point. The whole point is that you cannot be overprotective. If they get into trouble, they get into trouble. Okay? It's beyond us. We all have our own obstructions, our own problems that we need to overcome. That's all. I know it sounds cold, but it's the truth. Not a whole lot we can do. Okay, so when normal people, ordinary people, doesn't matter whether you're Buddhist or non-Buddhist, we are all residing in this desire realm. It's the place where we're living is called desire. Desire meaning that we're full of desire. We want this, we want that. And we started out when we were younger, when we were children, to be pure and free of desires, until we started giving them candies and chocolate and ice cream. That's when they begin to develop all sorts of desires. So guess what? We ruin them. Okay? So that's why they suffer, because we teach them about desires. Okay? Unless you have some form of spiritual practice, you're lucky. You go to a place, whether it's a Buddhist temple or non-Buddhist temple or church or non-Buddhist synagogue or any sort of places, and they practice. Hopefully, you learn to develop the skills to build your concentration. This is what it's about. The spiritual practices first and foremost, are designed to help you build concentration. Okay? Why is that? Because when you have concentration, you're able to enter this thing called the 4 dhyanas. And when you enter the 4 dhyanas, then you'll be free from suffering temporarily. That's called liberation for you. Put an end to your suffering. And that's why we cultivate. We cultivate so that we develop the ability to escape from our suffering when we want to. I know your teachers don't tell you that, okay? It's because it's not clear how it's done. But for us, when we teach you Chan, when you do lectures like this or you do ceremonies, our objective is all the same. It's in order to help you enter Samadhi. Yes, I can be blabbing away, but it will not stop you from entering Samadhis. At all. Even the children, when they're making a lot of noises, it should not stop you from entering Samadhis at all. Actually, the louder they scream, they should help you enter Samadhi better. If you know, you develop skills. Seriously, you laughing, but I'm very serious. It's because your teacher never told you the secrets. Okay? The skills is that. It doesn't matter. You can be in the middle of a whole market, a very noisy marketplace, and you're still able to enter Samadhi. Okay? When it's hot, for example, like today, you're still able to enter Samadhi. Okay? You can enter Samadhi. So that's what it's about. It's about developing the skills. This is a skill. It's not wishful thinking that you learn, you develop yourself. Okay? Other people who don't have access to this, who do not go to chant classes, who do not go to lectures, who do not go to Buddhist temple for ceremonies. You go to Buddhist temple ceremonies, actually, many of you are able to enter Samadhi by participating in the ceremony. Chanting along, very important for you to learn to chant along. Okay, just chant. Okay, and you can enter Samadhi yourself. Okay, that's the secret. All right. So even though those people don't have access to it, they can still enter Samadhi under some conditions, and that's why the golfers or the tennis players or the soccer players, they can enter Samadhi. What Samadhi? Dhyanas. Okay? They can enter it. They can develop dhyanas themselves because of very special circumstances. I'm not going to go into it for you because it's beyond my range. Okay? Because if I tell you, then you say, okay, Master, I don't need to come to your temple anymore. I can be on my own. So, not that I need you to come to the temple. It's because I want to stress to you that there is a way to teach you to help you develop Samadhi, whether it's lecture, whether it's ceremonies, whether it's a chant class, whether it's a Buddha recitation session. There's ways to do that, okay? That's what you should be aware of. That's what you monks need to know, that that's our role, okay? Because when you do that, okay, we can help our people get to the 4 dhyanas a lot quicker, okay? Without the training, other people can get to the dhyanas, but not as fast. I just told you, I just brag about the fact that the last 4 or 5 days during the relic exhibit, I noticed that some people enter dhyanas and improve one notch. Okay, I was very pleased by that. This is fascinating. Okay, so everything we do is in order to help you, make it easier for you to enter the dhyanas or higher. Okay. However, the important thing is that all these practices are very useful because they help people enter dhyanas. Okay, and other more advanced practices such as Hinduism, such as Taoism, and so forth, they can go quite a bit higher than 4 dhyanas. Okay, but for us, spiritual practitioners or normal people, dhyanas are important because that's how we got a taste of liberation. When we feel better, when we feel that we can take a break for all the sufferings. Okay? So for example, some of you who are depressed, who have depression, it's so much more important for you to enter the dhyanas, to get a break from your depression. Okay? All right. So that's very important for your spiritual practices to enter these dhyanas, or there are different level of concentration. All right? And slide 119 here. Oh my God, I've been talking and I only have 40 minutes left. Oh. So stressful. I better enter dhyana. But I can't. If I enter dhyana, how are you going to enter dhyana? My job is to help you enter dhyana. I'm not supposed to enter dhyana. Okay, so the first level of concentration for ordinary people is first dhyana. That's very important because it says in Chinese, it says you leave and you produce joy and bliss. Okay, so leave desire realm, produce bliss. I was looking at the Chinese and I didn't realize the English. I wrote explain the English already. So what does it mean leaving? Leaving suffering. Because where we live is suffering. You don't want to admit it. You don't want to face it because you don't want to be reminded that you are living in suffering, that life is suffering for you. Okay, this is what ordinary people have a hard time accepting. They don't dare face the fact that life is suffering. Okay, and so when you enter first dhyana, you're able to leave suffering. In fact, this is the first time that you're able to leave suffering for change. Because unless you enter the first dhyana, second dhyana, or higher, you are immersed in suffering. Did your mother tell you that? My mother did not, nor my dad. Okay? Nor my professors at universities. It's so fundamental to life. How come we don't know about that? How come we're not taught about that? We only teach our children, I give you candies and I want you to have a good education, have good grades, otherwise I will be very miserable. Okay, and we only make them more miserable. And we call it success. Don't you agree with me there's something horribly lacking in our education? How we prepare our children for life? Her daughter went to Berkeley for a computer science degree. Crazy girl. This guy graduated from Berkeley. Crazy guy. See, they're not normal. You can tell they're not normal. Huh? They are so successful, they're so respected, but deep down, they're so unhappy. Agree with me? It's so fundamentally wrong, lacking in the way we prepare for life. Okay? And so that's why it's very important for us, monks and nuns and people in the know, in Mahayana. We should prepare our children better. That we need to tell them that I know you're enjoying yourself. I know life is wonderful right now with all your cars and your washer and dryers and houses and clothes and perfumes and designer shoes. Okay? But one day when you feel like you're suffering and you can't take it, there's a way. There's a way where you need to get out of that state of suffering by entering samadhi. Okay? And so as you practice this. So do not neglect your spiritual practices because that's how you can develop systematically the skills to give yourself relief from suffering. That's so important. Because let me tell you, personally speaking, before I met my late Chinese teacher and learned about Mahayana and learned Chan, I was miserable because I was bipolar. You know, bipolar. You unhappy in morning until evening. And the only break is when you sleep, when they come harass you during your sleep as well. The point here is that I was so unhappy, so miserable, and you keep on running away from it instead of facing it. And that's why the suffering, no matter where you run to, it follows you. So the only way to avoid suffering, to deal with suffering, is to rise above it. Cannot reach you. And that's how you do it. First dhyana. You leave a place where they can make you suffer. That's what li means. Okay? And the beautiful thing about this place here is that when you leave this place of suffering, you will produce joy and bliss. That's relief right there. Yes, we have a dual con question, and then we have a orange here. The lady who is suffering a lot with her broken ankle. That's another one. Conk.
네, 단톡에 올라온 나영님 질문입니다. 저희 아버지가 요즘 잠을 너무 자주 깨셔요. 밤에 짧게 자고 깨는 것을 반복하는 경우인데 이때에도 수면 만트라가 도움이 되나요? 그리고 혹시 본인이 아니고 옆에 사람이 대신 해줄 수 있을까요? 아버지가 만트라를 하실 것 같지는 않으셔요. 감사합니다.
It's the question from Nayong. My
A little bit
father.
louder, please. Don't be shy.
It's the question from Nayong. My father awake a lot during the sleep. He sleep for a very short time, and then in that case, the sleep mantra would help to him. And can I recite the mantra instead of him?
So repeat the question again, please.
My father cannot sleep well.
How old is he?
나이가 어떻게 되죠? I don't know.
Is he Buddhist?
불자인가요?
Because if he's not Buddhist, Master Xi and I will not help him.
일부러 도와주지 않을 것입니다. So her question is that would the sleep mantra help to him, and can she recite instead of her father?
He cannot sleep. He sleep only very short periods, right? Short intervals.
Yes.
So why would you need the sleep mantra? The sleep mantra is to designed to shield him from the ghosts and the spirits who harass people during sleep. Okay, so it's not clear to me why the father could only sleep in short bursts, short time intervals. To me, there's nothing wrong with that, because physically speaking, you only need short bursts, short intervals of sleep to recover. And to me, so it's not uncommon for people to doze off a little bit and then wake up, especially older people. So it's a natural thing for them to. That's why I asked for his age. It's natural for older people to sort of like pass out for a short interval and then wake up and then pass out again when they need to rest. Okay, and that's a very nice way, a very natural way for them to recharge very quickly. Okay, and so it's nothing to worry about to me unless the doctor says otherwise. Okay, and then you can ignore my thing, and you should be worried. Okay? So that's why it's a lot of information that we need to talk before we know exactly what to do with him. But in general, it's not a big deal. And the sleep mantra must be recited by the man himself or the woman herself. The daughter reciting for the daddy doesn't count. Okay, yes, go ahead, Orange.
Thank you, Master. I have a question regarding the dhyana. The first dhyana, when people enter that stage, does that mean it's only temporarily? And when they get out of that stage, does that benefit or bliss follow them so that they can maintain calm and dealing with life outside of that?
Okay, very good. Okay, as the name here implies, 心感喜受, 身感乐受. Okay, so I didn't realize it. This is cool. Why did I get all this information? Even I don't even recognize this. I'm learning too. Hey, we're all learning. Don't look at me like that. Okay, so 礼 here is you depart from suffering. Remember, okay, and because you leave, and you will produce, will bring forth the joy and the bliss. Okay, so it takes leaving in order to get there. It takes leaving in order to produce it. So it's a skill that you develop. In our world, we stress developing the skills to do that. Okay, so because you develop the skills to leave this desire realm, and because you're able to leave it, then you enter these realms, these other realms where you're able to experience joy and bliss. So it's a skill, first of all. So when you go up there, then naturally you have the physically what's going to happen is that your chi flows a lot stronger in your body. Okay, as compared to the desire realm. The desire realm, you hear the chi flow is slower. When you leave it, then the chi naturally kicks up. Okay, so it's stronger. As long you're here, the chi is stronger. Okay. However, you're not born to be here. Here is the realms of the gods. Down here is where we belong. Okay, you and me belong, where we can go have some Vietnamese food. Okay, we cannot have heavenly food because we don't have access to it. Is that clear? So it's the same here. We cannot have kimchi. Good, authentic kimchi. Okay? Not the kimchi that Sangwook Suni makes. It's kind of too sour. Anyway, why do I have a craving? Now I feel hungry. I need to leave. So when you leave, when you're up there, so the chi is stronger. Okay, the chi is stronger, but you cannot stay there forever because your station in life is not that of a god. You are a human being. Therefore, you're only here temporarily. It's not permanent. Therefore, eventually, you have to come back to where you belong. Okay? And when you come back, okay, then the chi will naturally decrease to the normal level. So yes, when you come up, the chi is stronger, even though your body is not, you're still here in the desire realm, the body is still desire realm, but your mind is in this higher realm. See, that's why there's a separation between mind and body. Okay, oh, sorry, you don't read Chinese. You poor people who don't read Chinese. I feel sorry for you. Okay, the Chinese have so much information that they don't even know what they mean anymore. Okay? So, he's Chinese, but he does not read Chinese. It's even worse than most Chinese. He only speaks Chinese. He does not recognize the Chinese characters. So anyway, so you come up, you leave the desire realm here. This is desire realm. You go up the higher realm. Okay, then the body is still here, but your Chan practice bring your mind here. That's why your mind experiences all these things, because the mind is at a higher state. Then naturally the chi will be stronger in the body. Is that clear? Okay? And that's why when you come back, the chi will eventually decrease to the normal level. When the mind is down here, the chi will naturally ebb, will decrease. But so that means that you practice regularly, you go up here again, bring a chi up, bring a chi up, bring a chi up. That's why. That's why developing the skills to be able to enter these dhyanas is very, very useful. Think about it. All right? So you leave the suffering, a place suffering called desire realm. Desire realm is a place of suffering. I don't know anyone who's here and who's not suffering, okay, except for Buddhas. Bodhisattva suffer so much. Ask the second patriarch. I've been shooting at him for years now. Okay, so the only person who's not suffering is Buddhas in our realm. Okay, Buddhas is a different state. But for all non-Buddhas, you in the desire realm, you suffer. Okay, you're supposed to. Okay, so you develop Wei Mountain. Go ahead.
Master, the old man that was asking the question earlier, he has another question.
Of course, don't say old man. Let's say the elderly gentleman.
The elderly
Have some
gentleman.
class, okay? And we don't want him to think that you are a peasant. That is a lot of suffering.
So he came to WMT on Friday. He sat for about 30 minutes and his blood pressure started going up and down. He got a 2-month medicine master plaque, and he's wondering what else he has to do. He sat for about 30 minutes and then he couldn't breathe, and then he starts checking his blood pressure.
And the blood pressure went
It
up?
goes up and down.
It
Yeah,
went
it
down?
goes up.
Wait.
It goes up.
He sat for 30 minutes and then he couldn't sit anymore. He checked the blood pressure. What was the blood pressure? I think I better talk to him in person because this is a lot of stuff. I think it's too detailed for most of you.
Okay.
Okay? Make an appointment for him to see me when I come back. Okay, it's easier. It's too much. Okay, too much to go back and forth like this. Okay, don't worry, you won't die. Just kidding. Oh God, you guys are so serious. YouTube, go ahead.
From Cordelia, if we stay in dhyana bliss all the time, will our blessings deplete?
Oh yeah, it takes. It's just like. Let me put it this way. The only example I can think of right now is checking into a nice hotel in Beverly Hills when it's so hot. Okay, just for today. For example, it's so hot outside. Anyone? Okay, it's so hot. And especially at the temple where we're cheap, we don't have any air conditioning in our quarters. We're tough, supposedly to be tough. And so a hot day like today, people would suggest that we check into hotel, rent a hotel room where they have air conditioning, they have a swimming pool, we can order food from the restaurant and so forth. So it's a nice place to be. Not I'm promoting hotel business, but Marriott called me. This is when you put down your Marriott hotels or Hilton hotels. Anyway, for today, a day like today, I would love to be able to check into Beverly Hills Hotel. Okay, that Beverly Hills Hotel, not Marriott. Anyone been to Beverly Hills Hotel? You have so much suffering. Oh my God. Me neither. I haven't been there. I only heard of it. You see, you notice how much suffering he looks happy, but now he can't scream that loudly anymore. That is suffering to me. Aren't we laughing at him now? He said, "Hey, I dare you to scream now." He said, "Oh, I don't know." No chocolate for him, okay, until later. Okay, so a day like today, I would love to check into Beverly Hills Hotel. I'm told it's very nice. Okay? How long do you think we can stay there unless we check into a room? Okay, so let's say you can afford to rent a room. How long can you stay in that room? Okay? And that's the same thing with the dhyanas. It takes a lot of blessings to stay there. Okay? And as long as you have the blessings, you can stay there. You run out of blessings, they throw you out of the hotel, just like the dhyana heavens. Same thing. Okay? So not just the blessings, it also has to do with second aspect of it, is that your creditors, your past creditors, okay, you may have the blessings, okay, but so do your past creditors. Okay? And they can also access a hotel and they check into the same adjoining room as you. Okay? And they would play music or make a lot of noise. Bring along that kid there. See, you challenge him. He says, hey, I can scream. I can scream. And that's your past creditors. That's an example of past creditors. Okay? You think you're safe. That's when they show up and say, hey, remember me? Okay? So the second aspect of it is not just simply blessings, but also your past creditors who can also throw you out as well. So don't walk around and say, hey, I have a lot of blessings. Like that woman who shattered her tibia, her knee, or whatever. She said, I have a lot of blessings. But her past creditors could still stop her. See that? That's why you have to be humble. Doesn't matter who you are. No matter how successful you are, how rich you are, how powerful you are, how smart you are. Your past creditors can still have access to you. Okay? So don't get a big head. Okay? So that's why eventually either you run out of blessings or your past creditors will come and throw you out. All right? So, did I answer all the questions? So many things going on here you would not believe. Okay, and so you leave desire realm, and then you produce bliss and joy. There's two things here, not just bliss alone, but also joy. And that's the way they explain it, and Chinese explain it is very, very clever. It says, the mind will feel joy, and the body will feel the bliss. Okay? So let me explain to you. Okay? The body feels the bliss because of the qi flowing. The qi flows stronger, that's how the bliss is called bliss. So, for example, at first dhyana, okay, this is desire realm. Okay, first dhyana, the qi flows a lot stronger, very, very strong. Okay, and that's why you experience this thing called bliss. And you go to second dhyana, it's even stronger. Third dhyana, it's even stronger. Fourth dhyana, it's even stronger. Okay, so the body, the point is that, okay, the body will experience increasingly higher level of bliss. That's why it's important for you to continue to improve. The higher you get up there, the more skilled you are, the more bliss you will experience, not less. It's highly desirable. All right? So that's why the body receives bliss. And the mind is happy. The mind is happy. Why is it happy? Anyone knows? Why is the mind happy? Why is the mind happy? Anyone? It's so obvious. It says you guys are so used to suffering, you cannot remember anymore. Why are you happy? Yes, Orange. Why are you happy?
Thank you, Master. Could it be that you stop thinking for that moment?
Absolutely. Why are you unhappy? Because you think. The moment you think, you're unhappy. As long as you're thinking, you're unhappy. Isn't that amazing? The only way for you to be happy is to stop thinking. Think about it. I mean, don't think about it. Isn't it fascinating? No one, your dad never told you, right? I mean, you want to be happy? Stop thinking. Fascinating, huh? And these kind of insights that They're fundamental to life, and yet no one taught us. Why not? Because we're supposed to suffer. Think about it. We're here to suffer. This information is not supposed to be here. That's why the Buddha and Bodhisattva has to come and bring it here. Master Hsuan has to bring it here. It belongs to the Chinese, remember? In the Chinese language, it has to be brought here. So that the Chinese cannot claim they're the only one who is happy. The Chinese are weird. They want to say they want to be number one in I don't know, in economy, commerce, number one in EV. Now they know they're number one in EV purchases. You know that? All the Chinese companies are doing so well. EV companies are doing well. Okay, but they're not happy. They don't know how to be happy. Okay. When you're in first dhyana, important to know that the pulse stops. You feel the pulse? No pulse. It's funny because I still remember this. It's fascinating to me when I first learned about this from Master YongHua. And I said, one time I was meditating by myself, and I said, I think I entered dhyana. So I said, the pulse must have stopped. So I said, I immediately thought of taking my finger and stick it there, like those Eastern medicine doctors. So that thought, my pulse has it stopped, and the thought, and I immediately exited dhyana. It's so sad. I mean, it's totally useless knowledge. Okay, I'm warning you. Don't go walk around, have a big head, say, I know so much, my pulse stops. You can't verify it. I tried, it didn't work. Okay, yeah. So anyway, the pulse stops. You can sit up to 7 days, not get up without drinking, eating and drinking. Can you imagine? It's kind of cool. You have the blessings to be able to, for 7 days, not worry about anything physical at all. Okay, and you're in a state of happiness and bliss for 7 days. Straight. Isn't that wonderful? It's very, very low skill, by the way. And for you to be, and I don't know many people who can do that, except for Master YongHua, Master Xu, and so forth. But for most people here, I don't think that most people have enough blessings to do that. Too many obstructions, okay? And they experience the happiness of the heavens. So when you're there, that's when you get a glimpse of the heavenly happiness and the bliss of the gods in the heavens. It turns out, by the way, okay, the happiness of the heavens we're talking about, these dhyana heavens, are much higher than the happiness in the heavens in our realm. Our realm also has heavens as well. And the happiness and the bliss you experience there, the happiness there, not bliss, the happiness there is not as intense, as high as in the first dhyana. So it baffles me why, Catholic Daniel would want to go. He's dead set on going to the desired heaven to be near his God. Okay, whereas all he has to do is go into his first dhyana heaven and experience higher bliss than his God, or happiness than his God. Okay, but anyway, let the Catholics suffer. What do we care? Okay, any other questions? Okay, so So the first dhyana of a heaven has 3 heavens. I have a few more minutes here. The 3 heavens called, 3 of them, called 大梵天, 梵众天, and 梵补天. Hey, Chinese not bad, huh? China girl? I just looked it up before the lecture. Okay, yeah, try to impress that guy here who speaks Chinese but cannot read Chinese. So 3 heavens. Okay, first dhyana heavens had 3 heavens. Okay, and they're grouped together where Da Fan Tien here is where the king of the first dhyana heaven lives. Okay, and the heaven here is where the gods and goddesses live. Okay, Zhong here is the assembly. Okay, and the people there, and Bu Tian here is the assistants. So these are, I think, they are the assistants to the God King. Okay, then maybe like a cabinets, ministers, okay, and so forth. All right, and so you can be born in 3 different heavens, and this heaven here of the first dhyana king is reserved for him, and it's quite nice. All right, and then let me try. I have 2 more minutes. Let me try to finish it. This one here, and when these beings have these gods and goddesses live here, they take dhyana bliss as food, and they fill with Dharma joy. Okay, this joy here. The Dharma joy refers to the fact that when you learn the Buddha Dharma, you experience this kind of joy in your heart, and that's what they're referring to. Okay, it's a very special kind of joy that's different from getting a gift or enjoying food or whatever. The joy here is a joy, it's kind of heavenly joy, if you will, not earthly joy. Okay, it's very different. It's lighter. It's loftier, if you will. The heart is joyful. The mind is joyful in a much lighter way. Okay, and for food, they take the bliss for food. Okay, and at that point, when you're in this heaven, you enter this samadhi, this dhyana, and you have no more nose consciousness. I didn't know that. Meaning, you can't smell anymore. Yeah, there's no perfume in there. There's no perfume business up there. Okay? So you enjoy Chanel number 5. Now's the time. Okay? No more nose consciousness. The nose doesn't work anymore. The tongue still has no more nose consciousness and tongue consciousness. Because nose and tongue, they're together. They work in conjunction. Okay? Yeah. And so you lose consciousness of the nose, of the tongue. All right? So enjoy your main lobsters now, because when you go to the first dhyana heaven, you're born there, no more. No more. Okay? And that's why I insist you should enjoy the food, because when those of you, when you're too young anyway, those you who are destined to go to Pure Land, you know what to ask for. It's my attitude, okay? Because imagine you go in the Pure Land, and meal time comes, and you feel like eating. You say, I want to eat something good, but I don't know what. I want to specify beef stroganoff, Neapolitan pizza, lobster tails, beluga whale caviar and so forth, so that it will come exactly in that flavor. You know what I mean? All right. Any questions before? But still you have eyes and ears and body, intellect, consciousness. So you still have the other four consciousnesses. Interesting. I didn't notice this. See? So I'm telling you, the Chinese have a lot of information that we need to make available in English. Okay? All right. Thank you, everyone. We stop here tonight. So what we do next is to transfer the merit and virtue here, our blessing given away to help those people go to the Pure Land. There's so many of them. Jeez. A lot of people here who died here. Really? I'm telling you, for the last year or so, it seems like every week is like 4 people we need to help go to the Pure Land. Average at least 4. Oh, it's crazy.